Hey everyone, welcome back to RNG Mart. I'm Elvin. Today I want to discuss my biggest mistakes for the week. So I'm 2, maybe 3 weeks into it and I've already made a ton of mistakes. So I just wanted to go through them so you don't make the same mistakes as me if you're planning on starting up your own business or anything like that, importing anything really into Australia, as well as some sort of tax stuff as well. So to give you a little bit of context, I met with an accountant on Saturday and we discussed essentially plans for the business and so on and so forth. So the original idea is to start off as a sole trader structure to begin with, just for this second half of the financial year, so the FY 24-25, and then see how things go. Essentially, at the end of the financial year, if we're doing well, then we can register for a company structure, and then that way we can do it that way. So I asked him about importing goods into Australia and registering for GST. So if you're unaware, if you're registered for GST, you can claim GST credits when your goods come through. And even though the supplier doesn't charge you GST, Australian Border Force may. And that's the part that I'm not quite sure about at the moment. So the accountant said, you shouldn't get charged GST because you're purchasing goods. Goods aren't really charged GST from a supplier, but reading up on the information itself, I'd recommend this as well. Do your own research. It's basically saying that it's probably going to get charged. So I registered for GST, and then after I met with the accountant, I deregistered for GST, and moving forwards, if this was you in my shoes, what I'd actually recommend doing is registering for GST, and then once your shipment comes through and the shipping company contacts you to get them through customs clearance, pay for any fees or anything of the sort, then you can decide whether you need to keep your GST registration or whether you can cancel your registration. So if you're earning less than $75,000 in annual turnover, you can cancel your GST registration because it's all voluntary. So yeah, mistake number one. Mistake number two, so I made the order through an Instagram seller. So I reached out to a bunch of people on Instagram and made an order for quite a few boxes to get them through. So we've got some stock for our store. Once I made the order, it's a pretty easy process. Paid through PayPal, so they do charge you a 5% PayPal fee, but I just wanted the safety in the first place to begin with, just make sure that I don't get scammed or anything of the sort. And they shipped the box. FedEx called me and we're like, hey, we've got some shipments coming in for you. Can you tell us what they are? So I told FedEx, I'm like, oh, there's some trading cards there for our business. We're just starting up. And the guy from FedEx was like, okay, cool. I'll send you an email just with all the information that we require for the shipment to get it through customs. So I received the email, read through it, and sent them what they needed. So FedEx have asked me for a purchase confirmation or something similar, my ABN, and essentially what the goods are, and if there's any potentially, what's the term? So they asked me if there's any food, meat, or wood products, and their trading cards, so no. So I replied with all the details that are required, and then they followed up and said, hey, you can't just send us your PayPal receipt. Can you get an itemized invoice? So I went back to the seller, asked them for an itemized invoice, and got that all drawn up, sent it through to them, and I get a reply email to say, we can't read this, it's in Japanese. Your headers are all in Japanese, so can you get us an English invoice or English payment or order confirmation? I went back to the seller. The seller was like, look, it's nothing that we can do. The invoice is generated through our system. We can't change anything. So once I got the invoice back, I went ahead and got that translated and then sent them through the translated version. So hopefully that's all good, fingers crossed. If not, then you might get another video next week talking about how much bigger of a screw up this is than I originally thought. So we'll see. So if you're looking at importing anything from overseas, just make sure you get a an English invoice or order confirmation, just confirming essentially what the items are. So I just wanted to share a little bit on what Australian Border Force have on their website. So they have a bunch of articles essentially on importing and everything of the sort. This one is in relation to importing by postal mail, and it's got some details on what you need to do if you're importing it yourself, if it's going through mail or Australia Post or anything of the sort. So FedEx actually count as what they call a brokerage. So they're a freight broker. And sorry if I'm giving you motion sickness by clicking around. I'm just trying to find out where essentially they said it. So if your goods have a value assessment over $1,000, you'll be sent a notice by Australia Post advising that you need to lodge an import declaration. Import declaration will be assessed for duty and taxes, and an importing processing fee will also be applied. So this has some information in regards to what the fees are, how much essentially the things are. So let's say your purchase is between $1,000 and $10,000. You're looking at a $90 charge if it's documentary, a $50 charge if it's electronic. So you don't need to do any of this if your seller is shipping through FedEx, so you don't need to worry about that, but FedEx will come back to you with some details, and they have some information in here. So if you go to the FedEx website, go to the customs clearance little heading, and then once you're here, import clearance guides and essentials, check the import guides. This will open up a PDF document, I believe. Nope, some another web page. You can download the import guide, which is a PDF document. So this essentially mentions which ABF websites talk about importing and the requirements, and then this is the top 5 reasons for delayed clearance. So commercial invoice in English is the top one on there. I didn't look at this essentially when they first sent it through, or I knew that they were shipping through FedEx, so that's probably a big mistake for me. Detailed description of goods, including an itemized breakdown of commodities. So that could basically your invoice will cover that as well. And then any sort of details that they have here. So where it came from, shouldn't need a permit for something like Pokemon cards, shouldn't need a permit for most stuff, and things like that. Okay, so I don't know how many mistakes that is. I think it's number 2 or 3. Let's see. Okay, big mistake number 3 that I made this week was in relation to how we're planning on going live. So the idea is I built my website, I built it through Shopify, so I'd highly recommend Shopify. It's incredibly easy to use, and in terms of fee structure, it's pretty similar to any of the other website builders. Shopify has a built-in e-commerce platform, so it's quite easy to make your store. They have templates that you can use, and that's what I did. Just changed them up to fit our color scheme and everything like that. It is coming soon, so rngmart.com.au if you want to have a look. It's only got a landing page, but as soon as we open up the shop, that'll go live. So as I was saying earlier, so the plan was to go live on TikTok and rip some packs open for people to watch, for people to purchase. We'd rip them open, ship it to them, a rip and ship essentially, hosted through TikTok. I didn't understand the requirements for TikTok live streaming before I decided to do this. So I looked it up, and you need 1,000 followers on TikTok to even start live streaming. So basically we're kind of up in the air as to what we're going to do at the moment. Option number 1 is get 1,000 followers on TikTok by as soon as I can, really, and go live on TikTok with the shop all set up, ready to go, TikTok logo on there and everything of the sort, and go from there. I will be transparent. I don't want to buy followers. Advertising isn't really worth paying for at the moment. It probably is, but it's not something that we can afford at the moment, mainly because our funds have gone into stock and sourcing materials to get them all shipped and everything of the sort. So business costs, advertising will be something that we potentially look into in the future. And go from there. Jump on live TikTok, open up the shop, and get started on this venture. Option number 2 is start live streaming on Twitch. So we've got 2 platforms that we could potentially go live on. Well, there are a couple more, but I'll go into them in another video. So either TikTok or Twitch. At this point in time, it's probably looking like Twitch, but I'll keep you guys in the loop. Mainly because we don't have 1,000 followers on TikTok. So yeah, that's mistake number 3. So if anyone else is planning on starting their own business and it's going to be a live streaming type business, start your TikTok account early, start uploading videos early. Like we've got a ton of videos with us just like opening packs with our friends. Like we recorded them, but we haven't edited them or cut them together. So we're going through some old footage and basically uploading it through to TikTok with, you know, all the clickbaity type titles and everything of the sort. But yeah, we'll see how things go. So I do want to give you all a quick update. We will be opening up shop this Saturday, so Saturday the 18th of January. I'll be going live at 2 p.m. Australian Western Standard Time. For anyone over east, that is 5 p.m. For you guys, and we'll be running for an 8-hour stream. I'll also go live on Sunday, probably same time, and we'll be doing a special promotion as our opening weekend. So any orders over $100 will get $10 off. All the details will be on the website, so rngmart.com.au, so check it out. And yeah, other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys there. Anyone that's happy to join, willing to join, stumbles across it, yeah, look forward to seeing you there. Other than that, they're my biggest mistakes. So 1, take everything that's said from an accountant with a grain of salt. Make sure you do your own research. 2, make sure you know your importing rules. When you make your order, make sure that your seller can supply you with an English invoice. And 3, don't set up plans to go live stream until you know the sort of details on how to live stream. So yeah, that's all for today. I'll see you guys in the next video.